DJ Durong from Hot 702.5 in Las Vegas. It's time to come together. Rainbow Dreams Educational Foundation presents the 24th Annual Las Vegas Juneteenth Festival, going down Saturday, June 21st from 4 to 9 p.m. at the Expo at World Market Center, and it's free to the public. Catch R&B icon Tweed live on stage, plus performances by Kiss Kiss and the Squad, Darnell Alexander, Unk and the Nephews, and Las Vegas's pop princess Ray Millie. Hosted by DJ Ambeezy with Not a Boy DJ and DJ Kelly J on the ones and twos. Stop by and visit the Hot 702.5 FM live remote tent and check in with our on-air personalities. Shop the vendor marketplace, hit up the food trucks, and enjoy surprise guests throughout the night. Presented in partnership with Google, MGM Resorts International, Live You Equals You in the city of Las Vegas. Come together this Juneteenth weekend to celebrate freedom with Tweet and Rainbow Dreams. Get your e-ticket now and be entered to win one of our fabulous prizes. Visit June19LV.com. That's June19LV.com.
Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
No limit to the limit. Welcome to Marriage Bootcamp. No limit to the limit with Robert and Vicky Bell. I thought I told you. No limit to the limit for better or for worse. No limit to the limit for richer or poor. No limit to the limit in sickness and health. I thought I told you to love and cherish until death do you part. 1 + 1 =
1.
2 is bigger, but it's
Still 1.
1 1,000, but 2
10,000.
Team Bell, Rob and Vicky Bell, Hot 702.5.
We out. Welcome to Marriage Bootcamp with Vicky and Robert Bell on Hot 702.5 FM, Risky Radio. Hey, welcome everybody. It's good to be back in the Valley. I'm your co-host, Vicky Bell. Welcome to Marriage Bootcamp / Marriage Warfare. We're here to have real, honest, and unfiltered conversations about marriage, the struggles, the victories, and everything in between. This platform is for those that are disciplined, the dedicated, the wedded warriors. And let me introduce my co-host of 28 years, Robert Bell, who I call the commitment colonel, who's leading the charge in lasting love.
Welcome to Marriage Bootcamp with the Bells. Like you said, Lady Bell, good to be back in the Valley here at Hot 702.5 Risky Radio. Thank you for joining us here at Marriage Bootcamp with the Bell. Lady Bell, I got a lot on my mind. Today, but I promise you, I'm going to stick to the notes as close as possible. This mind of mine is going 101 miles an hour. Hey, we heard a lot this week. We seen a lot this week. Hey, Lady Bell, welcome to Hot 702.5 Risky Radio. Guess what? It's Saturday, May 31st. 2025. You know what's crazy about it? I keep wanting to say June 1st, which is tomorrow. Already. June is here already. I lost my sound. Okay. June is here already, Lady Bell. So you might as well say it's June 1st already. And you know what's so crazy about it being June 1st already, Lady Bell?
What's that?
We've been saying get ready. And here we is, January 31st. And some of us are still getting ready.
Mm-hmm.
May 31st. Tomorrow is June 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Remember December 31st, 2024. We couldn't wait to get into 25. Remember 2019, December 31st, 2019. We couldn't wait to get into 2020, and we ran into a brick wall in 2020.
Yes.
We ran into a brick wall in 2020.
Ran into a brick wall. None of the prophets saw it coming.
We ran into a brick wall. And here we are in 2025 already. Here we are, May 31st, 2025 already. Lady Bell, what do we always say? You can't still be complaining about that. You can't still be mad about that. You still can't be upset about that. Still?
Still.
You ain't ready yet. You and your wife still fighting for the same fight y'all had in January. Y'all still arguing about the same thing you was arguing about in February. You still mad about something that happened in March. Here we are, May 31st already. We should have been ready, Lady Bell. Why should we have been ready? Can I go back? Can I go way back, Lady Bell? Because we got to get ready because so much is going on, Lady Bell.
It's a lot going on.
It's a lot going on. And you got to get focused. Things are moving fast.
Very fast.
But we don't realize how fast they're moving, Lady Bell, because we're so distracted. We're so distracted, and you ain't ready yet. You and your wife still ain't got a plan yet. It's May 31st, 2025. You and your wife ain't focused yet. It's May 31st, 2025, Lady
That
Bell.
part.
Y'all been arguing. Hey, Lady Bell, and I can say this because I tell him all the time, and he tell me, hey, Rob, I ain't got no problem with you getting on me. Man, you and your wife still arguing about that. A friend of mine I met 15 years ago and moved out here to Vegas. And I told him the other day, man, I don't want to hear that no more. You've been singing that song about your wife since, what year did we get? 2012?
2012.
2012. You've been singing that song
January
about your
2012.
wife. You've been singing that song about your wife since January of 2012. And here we are, May 31st of 2025, and you still complaining about your wife. Lady Bell, I'm going off strip already. I'm getting away from the notes. I'm getting away from the notes already. Hold on. Before I say,
T-shirt.
I love your T-shirt. I love your T-shirt with them some boots.
Some
Boots on the ground. Who made those T-shirts for? What's that young lady's name? You got her information?
I sure
She
do.
made these lovely T-shirts for us. Boots on the ground, brave, courage, love. She threw a couple hearts in there for us. On the back, it says boots on the ground.
Okay, it's picture this and picture that.
Picture this and picture that.
That's the business name located at 2901 West Washington Avenue, booth E102 in Las Vegas,
That's the
Nevada.
flea market there right at Rancho in Washington. I can't think of the name of that flea market, but my swap meet, whatever y'all
Swap,
call it
yeah.
here,
Let me
right
give her,
there. Go
Should
ahead.
I give her phone number?
Yeah, give her phone number.
Area code 702.
Hold it. Who is her? Her name is Star.
Her name is Star.
And the name
Very
of the
nice
business
lady.
is picture this.
Yeah,
Picture
I went through that. Picture this, picture that, 2901 West Washington
And
Avenue.
you can give Star a call.
Booth E102, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89107. Her phone number is 702-817-3942, and her name is Star. She is so easy to work with, so professional, so nice. I really enjoy giggling and talking with her. I highly recommend her.
And Star is a black-owned business,
Yes,
owned
it
and
is.
operated. Go support this young lady if you need any type of T-shirts made. She sell other stuff too, but she did a lovely job of making these marriage boot camps. Boots on the ground. Let them see the back of your T-shirt. Yeah, I can see it. Boots on the ground T-shirt. Thank you, Star, over there. Picture this. Picture this.
Picture this, picture that.
Picture this, picture that. Thank you, Lady Bell. We were talking about getting ready, and I'm getting away from the notes because we say get. We've been hearing get ready for over 30 years.
Yes, we have.
He told us that get ready. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
You already
He's been
know.
telling you for 30 years to get ready. Know what the problem with that, Lady Bell?
What's the problem?
He didn't tell us to get ready for what? We wasn't ready for 2020. We wasn't ready for 2024. We wasn't ready for that dude in the pulpit. That dude in the White House. Get ready. You know what we got ready for? We got ready for church every Sunday morning.
Yeah.
We got ready for Bible study on Wednesday nights. Mm-hmm. We getting ready for heaven. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we getting ready for heaven. We thought get ready was preparing yourself for heaven. No, we got to prepare. You got to be prepared for June 1st. You got to be prepared for June 1st. You got to be prepared for what to come. A lot is going on, Lady Bell. And like talking about getting ready. If you and your wife are still arguing about some same old stuff, well, Rob, she don't want to change. Rob, she don't want to do this. Rob, she don't want to listen. Rob, she don't want to submit.
But you know what happens? When you keep arguing about the same old stuff day in and day out, your marriage becomes stagnant and it doesn't move forward and it doesn't progress.
It doesn't move forward and it doesn't progress. That's why you're still having the same old argument. That's why you're still having the same old disagreement. That's why you're still having the same old misunderstanding. And summertime, fellas, Lady Bell, I'm going real left. Summertime, fella, you got to put in the work. I got to put in the work. She tripping. You got to put in the work. She mad. You got to put in the work. She upset. You got to put in the work. She don't want to submit. You got to put in the work. She be tripping. You have to put in the work. For my Bible readers and my Bible believers, Lady Bell, I'm going real left.
Okay.
It was a dude named Jacob. He wanted this beautiful girl named Rachel. And he worked. And he worked 1 year. And he worked 2 years. She don't want to change. You got to work 1 year. You got to work 2 years. You got to work 3 years. You got to work 4. She's still tripping. You got to work 5 years. Wait, but I thought I was getting Rachel. You got to work 6 years. You got to work 7 years. Now you don't work 7 years. And you marry her, and it ain't Rachel. It's Leah. But you know what you got to do to get you a Rachel? You got to work 7 more years. She's still tripping. You want to turn her into Rachel? You tired of looking at that old lazy eye? You tired of looking at that old weak eye? You got to keep on working. Oh, I don't want to be a simp. You got to keep on working. I don't want to push past the pain. You got to keep on working. You don't know what I deal with. You got to keep on working 7 years, 8 years, 9 years. How long she been working with you? How long she been dealing with you? You don't want to do nothing. Somebody else got to do everything else because you're non-essential. Or are you essential? Are you essential? Hey, recall and review. Is the smoke detector still beeping? Is the light bulb still out in the closet? Is the light bulb still out in the kitchen? Lady Bell, you know one thing about these bathrooms out here in Vegas. It's crazy, these bathrooms out here in Vegas. You got all these old school light fixtures. It's like 10 light bulbs. It's like 10 light bulbs, and you go in somebody else, and half of them is out. And I know some people, because they trying to save on electricity, they'll turn some of them so they won't need any power. But it's they 40-watt bulbs. They ain't burning that much power. But you got all them light bulbs. How many light bulbs need to be changed, dude? Is the smoke detector still beeping? Do you still got an attitude? She's waiting on you. Are you have you prayed for her today, or does she have to wait for tomorrow? Have you given her a word of encouragement today, or does she have to wait for tomorrow? That's all a part of putting in the work and being essential and non-essential. I know I'm not on the notes, Lady Bell, but after this long weekend, and all and just all this year, all the people we have talked to, mainly women. Why we mainly talk to women? Because when we go on vacation, it be girls trip. 10 women over here on a girls trip, 15 women here on a girl trip, 30 over here on a 12 trip. All y'all leaving y'all men at home? All y'all going on girls trip? What did we learn this weekend? We had at least 5 women. We had at least 5 from the time we met them Friday to Monday. At least 5 women said the same old story. He don't want to get a passport. He's no fun. He's lazy. He's boring. We talked to 2 young ladies that have been married over 25 years. And I said, if y'all don't mind me getting personal, how do you walk away from 25 years? How do you walk away from 25 years? I don't want to do it. I can't. I don't want to do it. I hope I don't have to do it. I hope you don't do it.
Me either.
I hope you don't do it. But, but somebody, what did the one lady say? After 25 years, it started, and you hear this all the time. When somebody get divorced after 20 years, they've been plotting for the last five years. Mm-hmm. It's always, they're plotting their escape. Mm-hmm. Because I don't think you just, I don't know, my opinion, I don't think you just wake up one morning and say, I'm done. What do you think, Lady Bell? I don't think you just wake up one morning after done. I think you piled on. I think It piles on and piles on and piles on and piles on, and then it's too heavy. And then it's too heavy. And then you're like, okay, I think then that pressure says, I can't take it anymore. I'm done. That's what the two young lady told us.
But you know what? That reminds me, that takes me back. Remember we heard about the Great Divorce?
The Great Divorce.
Great Divorce refers to a trend of divorce among couples aged 50 and over, often involving long-term...
Talk to your audience, babe. You keep talking to me.
I know, right? Because I'm used to talking to you. Okay. Great divorce refers to a trend of divorce among couples aged 50 and older, often involve long-term marriages and complex financial matters. And we learned that there's also, there are things that are missing and they're not addressed throughout the marriage. And as Robert said, they build up and they build up and they build up. And then you get to a point where these ladies had gotten to a point where that was it for them, where they had reached that breaking point. And they figure, and we had this conversation, well, you're in your 50s, half your life is almost over. So, you know, they felt like, hey, this is the time to do it. And it reminded me of the Great Divorce.
And we, like I say, we read about that 2 or 3 years ago about the Great Divorce.
Yeah.
Over 20 years of marriage, over the age of 50, over the age of 60. You've been married 30 years. You 60 years old. Where you going, dude? Where you going? Lady Bell, and as we saw it, you know, a lot of ladies complain about their husband didn't want to travel, wasn't fun. And as we sat there, and you just seen these group of women having a good time dancing. And I remember once upon a time, you know, back in the years when we first met, you know, you went to a club, you know, a black woman wouldn't dance with no black woman.
No.
To dance with a black woman, you know, and you had your few line dances. You know, line dances wasn't as popular as they are now.
Right,
you had a line dance here and a line dance there.
Right,
now
right.
You got a line dance for every song. Mm-hmm. You know, but you ain't going to no club. You didn't go to the Mirage and catch no two sisters dancing.
No.
You ain't going to the Mirage and catch no two sisters twerking on each other.
No.
You're like, oh no, I ain't dancing with her. That's hey, what would they say back then? I ain't dancing with no female. That's gay.
That's gay.
Do you know that sisters wasn't dancing with each other? But now they're dancing with each other, and it amazed me. Black women up dancing with each other, having a good time, and then I got to beg couples to get up. And then you said, why do I got to? Because why are you just sitting there with your wife? Oh, she don't want to dance. Dude, look around you. Every woman in here dancing, except for you and your wife. If your wife is jumping up on every line dance, and she know every line dance, she wants to dance with you. There's nothing wrong with dancing if you save the unsaved. Remember that lie the pastor told me about dancing was a sin?
Dancing was a sin.
I said, dude, what's wrong with you? What you mean dancing was a sin? Oh, I used to dance when before I got saved and accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior, I used to go dancing all the time. But now I only dance for the Lord. And why do you only dance for the Lord, sir? Because, you know, when you go out dancing, this was the funny part. I got him good on this, Vicky. He said, well, you know, when you go out dancing, and you dancing and you touch it and you're getting all close, that leads to sex. And then, and then you're out there fornicating. I said, you're exactly right. Dancing is the before the foreplay. It leads to sex. But, sir, you're dancing with your wife. You want your dancing to lead to sex. You want your before play to lead to some foreplay, to lead to some sex. What is wrong with you? You think your wife don't want to dance? You think your wife don't want to drop it like it's hot with you? You think people say when me and my wife dance, oh, we love the way y'all dance. I've been telling y'all for years, we don't be dancing. This is the before play, before the foreplay. We before playing. We don't be dancing. This is the before play, before the foreplay. You should have a 1-step. You should have a 2-step. You should have, dudes be telling me, Lady Bell, we was out there and you seen all them women dancing and jumping around, having a good time. And dudes is standing around with cigars in their mouth. And then soon as they put on, we gonna have a frat dance off, whatever they call it, step off. And then all them Negroes want to start stepping. And all these women out here, and y'all stepping? What is wrong with us? Lady Bell, I know I went left, but this is important. You saw the frustration in those women we was talking to. You saw the disappointment in them black women we was talking to. You heard the words of these women who, like you say, we talking about great divorce. Google this for me, because I think the last time I read, I want to say over 60%. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Google this, Lady Bell. But I think it's over 60% women are filing for divorce. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lady Bell. Google that right quick. Who's filing for divorce? And we say, now we got Lady Bell. I wrote this down. I'm going to jump in these notes right quick. They say, my husband put the gas in my car. I want somebody to put gas in my car. I want somebody who opened the door for me. I want somebody who prayed for me. I want somebody, a Christian man that goes to church. I want somebody who's not boring. Lady Bell, I ain't never heard anybody got a divorce.
70%.
70% of women. 70% of women are filing for divorce. 70% of women are saying they're tired. 70% of women are saying they're done.
I just have to say, if your wife is telling you that she wants to travel, she wants to go somewhere, you better do it. It's something about disconnecting, going away, having a little fun, making memories, meeting people. I mean, it's just something about it. You just, you come back energized, revitalized, but it's just that time for you two to just connect and just have fun, talk and laugh and create memories. And if your wife is telling you that she wants to go somewhere, I suggest you get a passport and plan it. Don't put it on hold. Don't put it on pause. Don't say next year turns in the year after, because something is always going to come up. There is always something going on. Just in your day-to-day life, it's going to always be something that's happening. Make it a priority. Make your marriage a priority.
Lady Bell, you know what's crazy about it?
What's
you
that?
Said don't put off the next year.
That's right.
This year's halfway over.
I know.
Next year going to be here before you know it. And she going to say, we ain't been nowhere. But as I was saying, Lady Bell, I said, opening the door. It was a lady. I saw a lady the other day. She said, I dated my husband for 5 years. She said, for 5 years, this dude opened the door for me. No matter where we went, he opened the car door. We go, no matter, go to the grocery store, open the door. His policy was, you don't touch no door. She said, we went up. She said, after a month of being married, that dude ain't opened the door. But putting gas, prayer, church, not being born. Lady Bell, born. I ain't never heard anybody file for divorce because he don't put gas in my car. I ain't never heard anybody say, I'm tired. Hey, 70% of women filing for divorce. I don't think under irreconcilable difference is he don't go to church. I don't think irreconcilable difference is he ain't prayed for me, which you ought to be doing. You ought to be praying. No one should be praying to your wife more than you. Whatever your spiritual headship is, whatever your spiritual guidance is, whatever your spiritual authority is, no one should be going to the throne of your spiritual belief for your wife more than you. No, not the bishop, not the pastor, not the apostle. No one should be praying for your wife. You should have a word you should have a word of encouragement for your wife on a regular basis. I ain't going to say every day, but if you got a word for her every day, give her a word of encouragement. Give her a word of life. Give her a word of strength. Nobody should be motivating your wife more than you. Do you encourage her? Do you uplift her? That takes work. You already work. You don't work 7 years. You got Leah and you want to turn her into a Rachel. You got to put in 7 more years. She been dealing with your nonsense. She been dealing with everything that we ain't been doing right. And trust me, I'm not one. Cause I'm not gonna bash my fellow men, but I am gonna say we have to be on point. We have to do what we have to do.
That's right.
And we don't want to do anything anymore.
But that goes both ways. Women have to prepare themselves too. When you say that, I think about Esther. How did Esther prepare herself? Esther just didn't go into the king. Esther, she prepared herself. She had a diet. She had she bathed in different oils. She bathed in different scents, and she prepared herself. She didn't just go into him willy-nilly. So I think it's important that women prepare themselves also.
And who was that other lady too, man? Now, Lady Gabelle, recall and review. Recall and review. Hey, why do we use the Bible as a reference? And why do we use scriptures as reference? Because when you're talking to black folks, if you got to say God, you got to put God in it.
God said.
You got to put a dash of Jesus in it. You got to put a dash of the Holy Ghost told me. You got to put a dash of that for black folks to believe it, for black folks to understand it. Until we get washed, until we get renewed in our mind that everything that in the Bible ain't right, that everything that in the Bible ain't true. Everything that in the Bible ain't God said. If God said it, what if God told you? What if God told you, sir? What if God spoke to you here May 31st, 2025, in the last 5 months? What have God said to you? Did you hear what I said? Recall and view. Not what the pastor said God said. What have God said to you in your quiet time?
That's right.
In your quiet time, what have your inner soul, what have your inner being said to you? What have your wife frustration said to you? What is her whisper? Listen, women, it's a dangerous thing if you do not have your wife's ear. Thank you, Lady Bell, that I have your ear. I hope I will continue, that you have my ear. I hope you continue. I hope I will always continue to let you have my ear. Man, husband, father, it's a dangerous thing if your wife do not have your ear. Why is it important, Lady Bell? I know I ain't on the notes. But this needs to be said because the year is halfway over.
It's halfway over.
70% of women are filing for divorce.
Yes.
70% of women are filing for divorce. And you trying to get you a Rachel. She ain't the woman you want. You got to put in some more work.
Mm-hmm.
I need her to be a Rachel. I got to put in some more work. I got tricked. I got to put in some more work. That's the hard part. Nobody wants to work. Where to? The Bible says, for my Bible readers and my Bible believers. Hey, Bible, there's some who read the Bible and there's some that believe it. Some read and believe. But I got to tell you this so you can relate because you've been hearing this. You've been hearing this since the cotton field. But where two are gathered, even before the fellowshipping, two must gather. You and your wife must come together on a regular basis. Girl, I'm upset about this. I thought, you perpetrated. I thought I was getting Rachel. You ain't a Rachel, you a Leah. I thought you was this, but you're not. So now we got to have that conversation. You can't, Lady Bell, hey, you can't pray stuff away. Well, I'm just gonna lay it on the altar and God gonna change it. It don't work like that.
No, it doesn't.
You got to put in the work. You got to have those hard conversations. You got to have those hard conversations, even when you're on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
We had a good time this little getaway we had, but we had some hard conversations too. Did we have some hard conversations, Lady
Yes.
Bell? You got to have some hard conversations. You got to have some hard. So you got how you gonna push past the pain? We got to talk about it. How are we gonna push past our problem? We got to talk about it. How are we gonna push past the pressure? We're gonna talk about it. How is she gonna become a Rachel? I got to continue to work. I got to 14. That dude worked a whole 14 years, Lady Bell. A whole 14 years. But I was reading something right before we came. I was reading something, and he said, but he desired Rachel because Rachel had his heart. Because Rachel had his heart. Do you have your husband's heart? If you get that man's heart, you get that man. The way to a man heart is through his stomach. That's the old saying.
That's the old saying.
What the old saying? Every time it goes up, you knock it down.
Mm-hmm.
Every time it get up, you knock it down. No, you got to get that man's heart. Yep. You got to get that man's heart. You got to get that man's ear. Because you know what? Because if every time it goes up, you knock it down, it might come a point in time where it might not get up.
Mm-hmm.
Then what?
Mm-hmm.
But it might come a day in time that he prefers some Popeyes or some McDonald's, and he don't need you to cook for him.
Mm-hmm.
Then what?
Mm-hmm.
But if you got that man's ear and you got his heart,
mm-hmm.
and the desire is for you, and he don't work 14 years for you, keep his heart, keep his ear. Go ahead, lady, but look like you want to say something.
Yeah,
talk to your audience.
You know,
please.
when you talk about getting your husband's heart, you have to study your husband, pay attention to your husband, and and really, really particularly see what he needs and supply those needs. You want to be that source. You want him to come to you. I'm laughing because I'm thinking about, what did Cookie tell us on that last cruise we went on? She said her mother told her.
I can't remember.
She told us they have been married 50 some odd years. And she said when she got married to her husband, her mother told her to make him think he needs you for everything.
Oh, yeah.
And when she said that, I've heard that before, but it's different. Sometimes things hit you sideways when you hear somebody telling you that and they're standing in front of you and you see that they're happily married and they have been married over 50 some odd years. I'm trying to think, they were married more like 55 years or something like that.
Cookie and Lucius was married 50 years.
50 years. And to hear her say that, and she was just dropping knowledge left and right, saying some of the things that she did. But, when I think about it, she studied him. She paid attention. And to hear his story about how he went to go see about her, he went to the house and asked if he can come visit her. He said, her father looked at him and he was like, yeah, I want to see her, and she had all these brothers and no guy had enough courage to knock on the door and ask to visit her. But he said he was just crazy enough just to ask. And he promised her dad before he died that he would always take care of her. And that's when you say, put in the work. And that's what he said. And he said, no matter what, he would always take care of her. And when I tell you Cookie walked around that ship without a care in the world, that's exactly what she did. So when you talk about that.
She was Queen Elizabeth on the boat, on the ship. But Lady Bell, the thing you said was she had 6 brothers, either 5 or 6 brothers.
Yeah.
And she was the youngest. So picture this young lady, 6 brothers, her father, her mother, and she's the youngest.
She's the youngest girl.
And all the dudes wanted her, but they were scared to come over there. Mm-hmm. And my man said he wanted her. Mm-hmm. And he went over there. He wasn't scared of the brothers. He wasn't scared of the daddy. And when the mother answered the door, who you want to see? I want to see Cookie.
That's what he said.
She said, I didn't perpetrate like I wanted to see the brothers.
Nope.
And the father came out there, you was bold enough and brave enough to come to my house with me and my sons and ask to see my baby girl. Mm-hmm. And he shook his hand and said, you all right with me? Because like you said, Vicky, because right then he had his heart, her heart. Mm-hmm. She had his heart. I think they was like 16, 17.
Yeah.
She had his heart way back then. Mm-hmm. And when they got married, he told his father-in-law, be father-in-law, I will always take care of this woman. Mm-hmm. If we separate, if we divorce, I will always take care of this woman. Lady Bell, that's an addendum. Mm-hmm. That's an addendum to all the vows, for better, for worse, richer or poor, in sickness and health. He said, even after all of that, even if we separate, even if we divorce, he made an addendum to the vow and told the father-in-law, if we divorce, I'm still going to take care of her. Mm-hmm. But the key word, gentlemen, was that when he said all of that, and here it was 50 years later, and Cookie looked at me and said, he kept his word. This man have always taken care of me. Now, when I say taken care of, that means he always been there. They've been married 50 years. They told us about some of their trials and tribulations, their ups and downs, and this, and that. No, it wasn't a red carpet. It wasn't a white picket fence. It was roses and all of that. You think you're going to be married 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years? Y'all better get away from them folks talking about they've been married 30 years. Oh, we don't argue. We don't fight. We love the Lord. Lady Bear, and talking about loving the Lord and loving God. Remember we did that thing about marital myth of truth. Do you only need God? When we talked to those 3 couples, all of them married over 50 years. Yeah. And we asked, give us one word of advice. How do we reach 50 years? Lady Bell, I know you didn't catch it, but I always look to hear this. Not one of them said God. Not one of them said church. Not one of them said Jesus. Not one of them said that. The one couple, Bobby. What was Bobby's husband's name? Her name was Bobby, Bobbie. I can't remember Bobby's husband, Garland. Bobby and Garland. and she said, man, what she's talking about how she was sick and how he just stuck there with her and this and that and persevered with her. You know, hey, you can do that saved or unsaved. If for sickness and in health. Mm-hmm. See, a lot of time, Lady Bell, a lot of time we talking about the problem with marriage is we say these vows and we don't understand what we said until we get into the nitty gritty.
Yes.
Now you into the worst. Now you into the poor. Now you into the sickness. Now what?
But you know what? Although I have always felt like that when you deal with situations and circumstances like that, that's the glue and the grease in your relationship. I think it brings you closer together.
I always love when you say that. The glue and the grease. Mm-hmm. The glue, the pain, the pressure, the problems, the ups, the downs, the sickness, and the grease. You say the grease. When things get hot, what do grease do? It keeps the friction down. Mm-hmm. It keeps the friction down. It keeps the heat down. Mm-hmm. We got some problems here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we stuck together, but right now we don't need the glue because we stuck, but we need the grease.
Right.
Because you know if you know, like when I'm talking about the grease, I'm thinking about a bearing. So you put grease on a bearing. So when that wheel is spinning, long as that grease is lubricating and keep everything lubricating and keep everything cool and keep everything moving. But when you start losing that grease, when you start losing that grease, and then arguments, now a 5 minutes argument is a 15-minute argument. That argument you had in January that was only 15 minutes. Now in January, you arguing about it all day because that grease is just melting away. And that, it's like, man, what? Do that feel hot? Do that feel hot? Mm-hmm. Did you hear something? Because the grease is, because now it's grinding a little bit. You know, like brakes. Mm-hmm. You know, so you got your brake shoes, and when you put new brake shoes on. You know what I'm saying? This guy got those new brake shoes yesterday. And they put that brake, they got to put brake, even on new shoes, Lady Bell, even on new brake shoes, they still got to put that brake grease because the newness will get hot and squeak. You going into a new season, it might still get hot in a new season. It might still get hot in a new season, Lady Bell.
Yeah.
And you talking about the glue. The glue. It's getting hot out here in Vegas. Sometimes, you know, and you've been stuck together all winter, all fall, and now it's getting hot. The glue is still holding you together, but it ain't now instead of being stiff, it's sticky. You know, it's sticky, and you're like, why we feel like we coming apart? Why do we feel like we coming apart? The glue, because you gotta make sure the glue is tight, and you gotta make sure the grease it's still greasing. Does that sound good? Greasing, Lady Bell?
You make it sound good. Yeah, still greasing. It was that other word you came up with. Yeah.
So where we at, Lady Bell? You know, I know I went down there. Oh, so as we were talking about the getting ready and all that, because getting ready is always going into the second half of the year.
Yeah.
And I know we still got a whole month of June, but you know we're gonna blink. We're gonna blink in July. Gonna be here. So on this. Always remember home first. See, if we could concentrate on home first, nobody told me that home first. Nobody told me. You know, my wife first. My wife and my children first. Nobody told me that. You got to have a job. You got to go to work. You got to have an income. You got to do all that. But after you go to work and put in the work,
right.
Now I got to come home and put in to work. No. I don't want to say nobody because, you know.
Well, I think we always knew that your marriage came first, that your husband or your wife came first. But what does that really look like in your day to day? You know, how do you prioritize that? Like you just said, well, you got work, you got your friends, you got this, you got that. But home always first. When people are saying, hey, let's do this, let's do that. Well, you know what? Let me check with my husband. Let me check with my wife. You know, that's what it looks like to put home first. Or if there's something going on, you know, a financial, something really big going on that you want to do, talk to your husband first. That's an example of putting home first. There are different ways that you put home first, but giving your husband and your home a priority. I hate to say it, but especially when you're dealing with the church, because the church will put all kind of pressures on you, where you'll look up and you are in church 2, 3, 4 times a week, and you have to know how to balance that, where your home and your marriage comes first, even with work. Robert ran a business. We had a business, and our kids were still at home. But you know what? Somehow we always put home first, but making it a priority where your husband and wife comes first. You can work, you can grind, or it might be a season where you have to, set that expectation with your spouse, your husband or your wife. Okay, we want to do this, so I got to work. I got to grind this out. So I'm not going to be home at this kind of time. I might miss this. I might miss that. But then you set the expectation, and y'all be on the same page about it. And then as a spouse, if it's the husband that's working, then the wife, let the kids know, hey, daddy's providing right now, so he's not able to be here. So this is his way of showing you love. He is here because he's not a lazy person, and he's taking care of home first. So it's different ways that home can be first, that home look first, and you give your spouse that respect.
Lady Bell, I like the way you put that all together, being on the same page, different seasons.
Right.
You said if you the husband might have to grind this the last 6 months. Look, I want to get some things established. I want to put us in a better financial situation. I want to take us on a nice vacation. So I'm going to work overtime for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
So I'm going, instead of doing my 10 hour, instead of doing my 8 hour, I'm going to do 12 hours. 5 days a week for the next 3 months, for the next 6 months.
But you know what? As a wife, though, if a husband tells her that, as a wife, she should support.
She should support that.
Make sure, like, he's got his breakfast, lunch, and dinner and all like that.
But
and
speak to the audience. Say that again. Speak to the audience.
But a wife should support that, though. I know there are different gender roles depending on how it looks like in your family, in your life, but support that. Have everything else ready. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. If somebody working 12 hours a day, when they get home, they don't have no energy for nothing. But you should make it easy and comfortable for that person when they do come home. Don't let them come home to a house of tension and friction, and they've put in 12 hours. Nobody wants to be bothered with that.
Ooh, can you say it louder for the people in the back? Nobody wants to come home to friction. But you're talking about being on the same page.
Exactly.
Being on the same page. Where two are gathered together. The beginning of being on the same page, Lady Bill, is where two are gathered together. What's the plan? What's the goal? What's the purpose for the rest of this year? Time is going fast, Lady Bell, and things are going crazy, Lady Bell, and we're being distracted with a bunch of nonsense, Lady Bell. We're being distracted with Trump and all everything that goes with that. His pardon. Oh, he pardoned Christie. Distraction. He pardoned NBA YoungBoy. Oh, Trump ain't no racist. He pardoned NBA YoungBoy. Oh, Trump ain't no racist. He pardoned Larry Hoover. He ain't no racist. Obama didn't do it. All distractions. We talking about them little bitty pardons. We've been distracted with that when we're talking to people with all these DEI cuts and all that. Hundreds of thousands of people are losing jobs.
Yes.
Hundreds of thousands of people are losing Medicare. We volunteered at the elementary school. We were talking to some teachers about how a lot of summer programs are cut.
And it was effective immediately.
Right. And y'all worried about NBA YoungBoy, and y'all worried about P. Diddy and Cassie. It's all distraction. Don't y'all know every time we in the midst of all this stuff, Russia is bombing Ukraine ridiculously. Mm-hmm. And we caught up in the NBA playoffs. And I ain't got no problem with NBA playoffs and all of that and all the sports. And we getting ready for this. And we caught up on RG3 dogging Angel Reese because that sister ain't this. And he married to a white woman. It's all distraction. It's all distraction. So stop being distracted. What do not being distracted look like? Make sure home is in order. Make your home in order. Like I said, you and your wife got to sit down and plan and say, I got to grind it out for the next 6 months. If both of y'all got to grind it out for the next 6 months. Hey, kids, me and your mama got to grind it out for the next 6 months. I'm going to be getting all the overtime I can. She going to be getting all the overtime she can. And we going to need, we putting the oldest child in charge, and we going to need y'all to listen to him or her while we at work, because we trying to get some things in order. Because you know what? Daddy ain't got a life insurance policy. And Daddy need to get a life insurance policy just in case something happened to me. And something happened to me, I want to make sure y'all and y'all mama is okay. I don't want y'all cooking chicken wings. I don't want y'all having a fish fry. I don't want y'all out there with T-shirts on one, a GoFundMe for my daddy and washing cars. So I need to get my finances in order, because if something happened to me, I need a life insurance policy so I can tell y'all I love you from the grave. Daddy ain't leave y'all in no jam. Mm-hmm. Daddy ain't driving around and name brand stuff, name brand car, name brand this, and then when he died, y'all struggling. Daddy ain't gonna do that to y'all. I got y'all from the grave. Help me, Lady Bell. You can't get caught up in all this distraction. You have to be ready, because things are moving fast. Things are moving fast. Things are happening fast, and you got to get your home in order. I told y'all, that dude told us 25 years ago, get ready, get ready, get ready. But he never said for what.
But you know what? You just have to stay ready. I mean, you and I talked about that. You have to stay ready. You have to make your home a priority, where if something does come up, you're not running around trying to get ready for whatever. Just like the pandemic, nobody saw it coming.
And we weren't ready.
Exactly. Why people ran to the store and bought toilet paper was beyond me. You needed so much more than toilet paper. There was a shortage on toilet paper. And then when you talked about all the different tornadoes and all the different weather challenges that we've had. Every time that there's a hurricane, people have to run out and get preparations. We should all have generators. We should all have water supplied in our houses. We should all have these things. It should just be part of something that we have. You should have a certain amount in your house and keep it there. That way, if it's an emergency, you got enough to get you by. Now, you can go to the store and get extra, but you got enough to get by. But every time it's a situation or something come up, something always going on.
Can I jump in there, Lady Bell?
You sure
can.
We
always say just in case. Lady Bell, they be having record numbers of tornadoes already this year.
Yes.
And the tornadoes touched down in St. Louis.
St. Louis.
In the inner city gusts of St. Louis. Mm-hmm. That's what you never know. Oh, it ain't gonna happen. A tornado touched down in St. Louis through the hood, Lady Bell.
Yes, it did.
And if you see the video, they run around like, what's wrong? It was a tornado. Them people's going crazy. Like, I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. Even at that time, that tornado hit our street, 1983. Mm-hmm. We was crazy, like a tornado hitting here. Mm-hmm. So when we think it ain't gonna happen, but more and more with this weather getting crazy, you're getting tornadoes in the city.
That's why I think it's so important for, families to come, a husband and wife to be on one accord, to where the two become one, so that you can be prepared for things like this. Robert's talking about get ready, and get ready for what? And we already know who we're talking about when we say get ready. But there is so much going on in the news, and not to get distracted every single day. But I encourage you all, you have to stay informed. You have to watch different news media outlets so that you're aware of the current events. I know I heard something this week that really shocked me when Bozo posted something on Instagram, and then Russia popped back and said, okay, watch it. Mm-hmm. You're going to start World War III. So you just, rearrange your priorities and be prepared.
Rearrange your priority. Lady Bell, we talked about being prepared and all of that. And I know we got to wrap up soon.
Yep.
But we talking about just in case. Remember, I've been saying $1,000 is not enough.
It's just not enough.
$1,000. Hey, somebody sent me this. Being an adult is realizing $1,000 is a little money to have, but a lot of money to owe someone. $1,000 in your pocket, that ain't nothing.
No, it's not.
But when you owe somebody $1,000, that's why I say $1,000 emergency money. It ain't enough. It's not enough. Have a good time. Enjoy yourself. Look at your sports. Look at, hey, we all like entertainment, but we getting caught up in the news about millionaires, multi-millionaires. We getting caught up in they stuff, and P. Diddy this and RG3 this and Shannon Sharp this. We're talking about multi-millionaires. We're talking about multi-millionaires. They don't understand. They don't understand what we're dealing with.
No,
they don't know the struggle. They could care less how much a dozen of gas, a dozen of eggs cost, or a gallon of gas. And we getting caught up in that nonsense. No matter what, always home first.
Always.
Where two are gathered, before the Bible. We get caught up. Do not forsake the assemblies of yourself together. Do not forsake the assemblies together, and come in fellowship. Before you fellowship, you got to gather with you and her tomorrow, June 1st, Motivational Monday. She gonna need a motivating word. Where two are gathered. Come get that girl a word. Get that girl encouragement. If you got to put in some work, hey, what is 14 years? 70% of women are filing for divorce. I'm putting in the work. I pray that you stay focused. I pray that I stay focused. I pray that I don't get distracted. I pray that you don't get distracted. I pray that we keep on fighting, pushing past our pain, pushing past the problem, pushing past the pressure. Because 1 + 1 will always be
1.
2 is bigger, but it's still
1.
2 is after 1, but it's still
1.
1 1,000.
But 2 is 10,000.
Team Bell, you know who I am.
And you know who he with. Everybody have a wonderful week.
Team Bell.
Welcome to Marriage Bootcamp with Vicki and Robert Bell on Hot 702.5 FM, Risky Radio.